My fellow Nigerians, I want to first and foremost start by apologizing to all Nigerians for my delay in addressing you on such an important matter. This was because of the need to consult widely and put in place interim measures whilst monitoring global happenings. My address to you, my beloved Nigerians, is therefore better late than never. The coronavirus poses an existential threat to our nation like none we have ever faced before. The official global death toll from the virus as at today is over 67,000, with over 1.2 million people infected across 180 nations of the world. These numbers are rising daily as no virus has affected that many countries in such a short time. From what we know so far, the coronavirus could have a long incubation period, as long as 14 days, and individuals could be contagious whilst asymptomatic. That is, individuals are already able to transmit the virus when they haven't started showing the known symptoms of the virus, which was not the case with SARS in 2003. In some cases, it appears the virus may be aerosolized, which means it doesn't require physical contact for transmission, but just the distance of sitting in the same room. The sad truth is that this virus is already within our borders and spreading rapidly. We were caught napping because we didn't understand the dynamics of the spread of this virus. I take responsibility for the failure of my administration in not taking more proactive measures in dealing with this health emergency. The coronavirus has come at a time when we're already grappling with the perennial Lassa fever, which has so far killed an estimated 300 people. We all know that our public health institutions are fragile and are not equipped to deal with a major catastrophe like this, and will lack the data to effectively monitor and respond to situations like this, even though the National Center for Disease Control has been doing a yeoman's job with the limited resources at their disposal. The coronavirus is also decimating the world's economy as nations shut down their borders and economies to slow the spread. Our world was not prepared for a pandemic such as this. We are seeing eerie images of popular cities around the world gone quiet as people tremble in fear of COVID-19. From New York to Los Angeles, Barcelona to Madrid, Milan to Rome, Paris to Marseille, London to Manchester, and Lagos to Abuja, it is the same tale: graveyard silence. Our world will never be the same again. Beyond the harmful effects of the coronavirus on the world economy, our nation has also become a casualty of an economic war as Saudi Arabia, Russia, and America jostle over market share. The twin effects of the coronavirus and the oil war has had a major knock-on effect on our economy. In addition to this, we're already grappling with the decade-long Boko Haram war in the northeast, ISWAP also in the northeast, bandits terrorizing parts of the northwest, lawless criminals cloaked as headsmen killing and maiming farmers all over the country, and rampant kidnappings across the country. I don't believe there's any nation that has this kind of problems all happening at the same time. These are definitely not the best of times for our beloved nation, Nigeria. In order to slow down the spread of the coronavirus, most nations have resorted to a complete shutdown of their borders and enforced a nationwide stay-at-home order, or in some cases city to city or state to state. Here at home, I have been inundated with calls to follow suit and enforce a nationwide stay-at-home to slow the spread of this dreaded disease. But we have to understand that all nations have different circumstances. We are now forced to confront the truth about our situation. We're a nation whose majority lives in poverty, and a nationwide shutdown will further compound their situation, as most of them who work tend to work menial jobs for daily pay. Our informal sector is larger than our formal sector, and most of them can be found within the informal sector. We know they are there, but have no accurate data or census about them. Any actions we take must therefore be homegrown to protect our citizens from the coronavirus and insulate citizens from hardship. We must also take our precarious economic situation into consideration as we plan not for 1 month or 2 months, but for at least 2 years. There is no decision we'll take as government that will be 100% foolproof against the tides we faced, but we must begin to do something immediately. So as your president, I therefore say to you, enough is enough. We will never be found wanting again. Courage is born from adversity, so we will therefore take bold steps to curtail the impact of this virus and put in place measures that ensure that we're never found wanting again. To this end, I have established a command and control center within the presidential villa to monitor the developments surrounding the spread of this virus within and outside the shores of this country. In a bid to protect our economy and the most fragile within our economic space, I have issued an executive order for the implementation of a 3-day work week, which will start in the next 5 days. This 3-day work week protects the most vulnerable who earn daily pay and protects our economy. But we must work in safety, observing all laid down health guidelines such as social distancing, wearing of masks, etc. Local government authorities will implement strict social distancing measures in all our markets as prescribed by the relevant authorities. This executive order will be in effect for an initial 3-month period and will be rolled over if the need arises. Therefore, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday will be our official work days, while Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday will now be strict stay-at-home days to be fully enforced across the country. I encourage you all to use the opportunity of a 4-day weekend to fast and pray continuously for our world and nation. I have also issued an executive order that requires everyone to wear face masks in public. My administration will ensure that masks are made available across the country, free to all those who need them through the local government council offices, banks, government offices, etc. Anyone found in public without a face mask will be arrested and prosecuted. An emergency bill will also be sent to the National Assembly in this regard. We'll also embark on vigorous public enlightenment campaigns across the country to teach our citizens how to make masks at home, how to use them, and the importance of masks to the curtailment of this virus. All known and suspected cases of the virus will be referred to our nation's university teaching hospitals, so I have directed that all chief medical directors of our teaching hospitals create quarantine zones within their facilities. Several years ago, you suffered the indignity of having your president spend almost 6 months in a foreign hospital. That was one of the lowest moments of my presidency. Nigerians spend over $1 billion annually on medical tourism. Surely, we need to put a stop to this. My administration will therefore build and commission the first 1,000-bed Level 3 medical facility in the region within 1 year in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Within the next 6 months, we'll also equip and upgrade all government hospitals to international standards. We'll embark on a massive retraining of all our medical personnel to equip them with the tools to meet the requirements of modern-day medicine. We are also embarking on an audit of all Nigerian medical personnel working overseas with a view to attracting them back home. We are also collaborating with other governments on research to seek an effective vaccine for this virus. We'll also embark on a massive Back to the Farm campaign across the country. When all else fails, this God-given soil will not fail us now. It is the patriotic duty of every Nigerian who can farm and who has access to farmland to immediately start farming. We need to ensure food security and also have enough to export. We'll also work with the different state governors to build 1 mega agro-processing park per state. It is not enough to farm. We also need to do the business of farming, create millions of new agripreneurs, elongate shelf life of our produce, and create secondary products through processing. We'll create farm service centers in all the 774 local government headquarters to support and handhold farmers, provide fast-growing varieties of seeds, and provide farm mechanization implements. The Central Bank, Bank of Agriculture, and the Bank of Industry will work with the commercial banks to provide zero-interest lending for those who are currently engaged in the business of agriculture and single-digit interest rates for new entrants. My administration will channel our limited resources to ensure that within the next 2 years, agriculture will become the mainstay of our economy. In confronting the scourge of this virus, we must also seize this moment to rebuild our educational sector. Over 1 billion children are at home because of this virus, and our children are also affected. We don't know how long this will last, but we cannot let our children stay at home idle. We must prepare them for the future that we know will surely come after this. They must not lag behind or be found wanting. We must retool our children to adopt e-learning as a standard of education, so even at home they can follow their school curriculum. I have directed the Ministers of Education and Communication together with the Director Generals of the Nigerian Satellite Company, NIGCOMSAT, and NITDA to work with Microsoft, Intel, and our local computer OEM manufacturers to report to me in 2 weeks with an e-learning implementation plan for all tiers of education in Nigeria. My fellow Nigerians, all hands must be on deck as we fight the scourge of this virus and rebuild our nation. I enjoin the organized private sector and all Nigerians to step up at this time, as government cannot do this alone. We must reach out in love to the weak, poor and vulnerable in our midst. The bitter truth is that my government, like other successive governments, has failed our citizenry, and we are now paying the price. This failure of government is not limited to Nigeria, as we now see nations more advanced than us collapsing as this virus rampages through cities. We now see that whereas we preach hate and divisiveness, we have more in common. We now understand that no nation is an island unto itself, and that we must stand together shoulder to shoulder, border to border, to defeat this common threat. When we emerge from this tsunami, we must do things differently as nations, as people. We must unite on the table of freedom, equality and justice for all. No longer will we allow one nation dominate the other. No longer will we allow one race oppress the other, for all men are created equal by God. No longer must the blood of prophets flow through our veins. The poor, weak, old and vulnerable must come first in all things, because they are the reason the coronavirus is upon us. We neglected and abdicated our responsibility to them, for we live by a creed of every man for himself and God for us all. For decades, our most vulnerable lived without light, water, good roads, good schools, good health care, and it didn't matter to us because we had options. The rich and powerful always had options, but now those options have failed us as nations all over close their borders. We are now left with the country and the people we took for granted. It's a collective guilt, for the failure is not mine alone or that of this administration, but the failure of the ruling class, who have been part and parcel of all administrations. We must go on bended knees and ask our Creator and Maker for forgiveness, for were He to judge us harshly the way we have judged the poor, we will spend eternity in misery. We fail the basic test of humanity, which is love for others the way we love ourselves. What do we now see? Have you not noticed that all solutions before mankind to defeat this dreaded virus benefit the poor the most? Have you not noticed that our skies are blue again, our waters calm, and the earth still, as we hear the early morning chirping of the birds? God has reminded us that He alone is sovereign, as all evil machinations of man have come to naught. My fellow Nigerians, I, as your president, will be the first to ask for forgiveness from you all, on behalf of myself, the government I lead, and all previous governments, for government is a continuum. We have failed, but I make a solemn promise to you all that even if it's 1 hour I have remaining on this seat, my every action will right the wrongs of decades past. I will work for you. I will bring roads to your doorsteps. I guarantee you that electricity will no longer be the privilege of a few. Our schools will be uniform for rich and poor. Opportunities will be open to all, irrespective of tribe, religion, party or class. Government has made your land iron and your toil in vain, but our policies will now make your soil fertile and your barns full. The task before us is onerous, but with your blessings, forgiveness, love and support, we'll overcome this dark phase in our nation. I stand before you naked in guilt, and only you can clothe me with the forgiveness to run this race. I will lead you in love and humbly ask that you follow me in love, for love covereth a multitude of sins. The only currency I and this government will spend moving forward is love. It's a new dawn and a new day. I will love this country, represented by this flag, and I will love you all. I enjoin you all to do the same, first to self and then to neighbor. We shall emerge from this better and stronger, ready to face a new world where love rules and guides the conduct of all men. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless you all. So guys, this is the speech, or the kind of speech I feel our president should make in a time such as this, or should have made in a time such as this. We need to begin to address our feelings as a people, as a nation. We need to correct the wrongs of the past. We need to own up to our mistakes, for only when we do that can we unify in love to face this common threat. I thank you all for listening. Follow us on all our social media handles, Roots TV Nigeria. Thank you guys.